What's up guys, Deceiver here. So a lot of you probably didn't know that I actually play D&D, and I spent a lot of time going through all the different tools that you could use. Mainly right now I'm DMing, haven't got a whole lot of player stuff, but I do have a player tool for you guys as well. Yeah, so I'm going to just kind of go through all the tools that I use and which ones are the best and which have worked the best for me so far. So the first thing I'm going to show you is what overall tools you can use. So the best overall tool that I found is 5e Tools right here. I'm going to leave links to everything in the description so you'll have quick access to any of the things that I'm going to go over. So 5e Tools literally is a compendium of everything for D&D 5e. It has your races, classes, feats, optionals, backgrounds, items, spells, psionics, adventures, books, quick reference, conditions, your beasts, DM screen. It even has a loot generator and a CR calculator. This thing has pretty much everything that you need as far as like looking up information on D&D, and it also has access to like homebrew stuff, so like critical roles, homebrews that other people have made. You can set the filter inside of whatever you're gonna do. So like for example, if I go to bestiary, you can see that I have all these different references to every single one of these monsters. So there's 4,189 different monsters. I have filtered out 3,500 of those. So you can go into the filters and play with what kind of things you want to see and what kind of beasts that you want to be able to do. You can do the same thing for classes and pretty much anything else on the website. So if you only want to see stuff from like the player's handbook, you can do that as well. But yeah, so this is one of the best overall tools that I've been able to utilize. There is one more tool that I'll have to pull up here in a second. But actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it. We'll pull it up there. So the next one that I have is RPG Bot. And this is kind of like a compendium as well, but I mostly use this one for like recommendations when I'm class building. So what it does is if we go into, let's see, character optimization, and then we go into classes, it'll give you a list of all the classes and what it's going to do. So for example, we'll go to like Druid, I guess, mostly because I don't see a lot of Druids, but it has basically a list of like scores, and for 4 stars being the best thing for Druid, so like the optional class features and stuff like that, it's going to tell you things that you kind of want to think about taking, what are good options, what are ones that you should never take, basically. But yeah, I like using this for like recommendations, basically. So this is one of my go-to websites as well. I'll leave it in the description. Next is what I use for basically organizing my campaigns and adventures and pretty much everything else. So this is Notion. Notion is kind of like Evernote or the Windows version of it. I forget what it's called, OneNote. But it does have a lot of options. And as you can see here, I like to use... whose is it? I forget his name. I believe it's Sly. Yeah, Sly Flourish's Lazy Campaign Template. I'll leave a link for this as well so that you can get this set up. He has a video going into detail how to set up Notion and how he uses it and everything. If I can find the video, then I'll leave that in the link in the description as well. I highly recommend watching that video if you want to use Notion for setting up your campaigns. I also found a database that has quite a bit of useful things, and I customized it myself and added some of the things that it was missing. I got the PDFs for my books and put them in here. I got, you know, there's a spell list in here, there's races, classes. I added personally the equipment shop, the weapon shop I believe was already here, and the conditions. You can add feats if you want. I added those myself. Traps I added myself. All these rule references and like stuff to just basically help out on the fly. I can look in my Notion app while I'm DMing and look for any of this stuff. Also, I can kind of show you guys, since I've already ran this campaign, or this adventure rather, this was just a one-shot. I can show you kind of how I have it set up. So I have like my strong start, my scenes, like what scenes I want to happen or will happen no matter what the players are doing, because you kind of want to keep a loose graph on that. You got your secrets and clues, things for them to discover. You can put locations in there, you can put NPCs, you can also link to the NPCs. So if I click on this NPC here, it's gonna link into his page here, and yeah, it's got all his info. And then I can just go back and I'm right back in here. I also can put my maps here if I want to. So we'll get to that here in a second on maps. But yeah, you can add NPCs and just link to them, recurring NPCs, monsters, all that good stuff. And I'm just kind of adding them as I go. But yeah, this is one of my favorite resources. I share it with one of my buddies that I play with so that he can do it for his campaigns and everything as well. Next we're going into the character creator. So Aurora is the character creator that I use, and it is basically the best character creator that you could possibly use. I'll link to a video of a guy that I watched that found this. He set it up and everything. Basically it's a software program that has pretty much everything you could want for character creation. It keeps track of everything. It makes it easy to level up so you don't have to calculate everything. I'll just go ahead and load my rogue real quick. But yeah, it's got it all set up in a in a neat, nice, organized fashion, so that you can easily make your characters. So like you start off, you make your level, you set your ability scores, which you can change. You select your race, your dexterity scores. So depending on your race, it'll come up with your ability score increases, and your class, same thing there. It'll automatically have everything. It's got all the backgrounds you can choose from. It's got your ability scores here. You can just drag them and drop them where you want them. Languages, proficiencies, feats, and then you go into your magic and select that. You go into your equipment, put it into your inventory, and I'll show you what the character sheet looks like once it's generated, which this is more if you don't mind printing it out every time you level up, but you can also make a fillable version of it as well, or you can just make it, leave some of it like blank if you want to and fill it in with a pencil. So stuff like that you can kind of change, but yeah, it kind of came out pretty good. I really like these character sheets. It has information on my spells and everything already on it. So if you're into printing out your character sheets, because you have messy handwriting like most of us do, this might be the way to go. Yeah, you can pretty much do everything here. Next we have Dungeon Draft. Dungeon Draft is my go-to maker for making maps. So this one is not free. It is about $20, I believe. But it's worth it for me. Personally, I don't share my map with my players because I like to kind of... It basically just reveals everything when you use a map. So if you're looking at this map here, you kind of know where you need to go and what you need to explore. Whereas if I keep the map to myself, I use it more for being able to describe rooms and everything better on the fly instead of having to think of what's in that room and then describe it. I already know what's in the room and then I can describe it. So it's good for that kind of thing. This isn't necessary as a DM. You don't actually need this. It's just kind of a quality of life type thing. And I actually really do like having it. Next is Owlbear Rodeo. This is what I would use for playing online. I have not played online yet, but I have played around with this program just a little bit. I'm not going to go too far into it. There are other videos that go into Owlbear Rodeo, but it does have the Fog of War feature, and it's super easy to use compared to something like Roll20. You can use Roll20 as well. That would be my second recommendation as far as online play. But Owlbear Rodeo, if I do start playing online at some point, this is going to be the one that I want to use. And then last but not least is my monster generator. This is Tetracube. It's a stat block generator. You can select from a pre-list of different monsters, or you can just start from scratch like it is here. You can add in all the information that you want for this monster. So for an example, I'll put in like zombie. I'll give it some hit dice. We'll say 35. I'll give it some climb speed because why not? 60. I don't know. And then you can add in your abilities here. So like bite and like, I'm not going to do it too like, I'm going to be like 2d4 or something like that. Piercing damage or something like that. And but you'll want to obviously flesh out the abilities a little bit more. So you can add action, ability, reaction. I'll add it as an action because that's what it is. and then go up here to update, and it'll change everything. So this is the best by far custom monster maker like generator that I've found. And what you can do is you can click view image and save the file, or you can save it and edit it later if you want to do it that way as well. And they also make printable blocks that look different but are easier to print. So yeah, that's pretty much it on these. So if you guys like any of these things and want me to make a video on like any of these specific things, like obviously a video could be made on Notion, but there already is a great one by Sly, so go check that one out. Aurora, I could make a video on this entire thing, like how to make your character and level it up and all that good stuff. Dungeon Draft, I can make a whole video on the system itself, but there is already a series explaining it as well. Owlbear Rodeo, any of these, the stat block generator, I can make a video maybe making an example creature, something like that. But yeah, if you guys want to see more videos like this or anything related to D&D, I am thinking about making a second channel that will strictly be for RPGs and D&D and stuff like that. I'm not sure if I want to get into that space because it's so crowded at this point. There's so many D&D channels out there that are really great, but if you guys want to see that kind of thing from me, then I'll definitely go ahead and do that. If this was helpful to you guys, leave a like on it and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Like the video, comment, subscribe. Check me out on Twitch TV/DeceiverGame. There are some other videos for you to check out. I'll see you next time.